Welcome back to MatTechTV. In this lesson, we're going to look at one of Google Drive's most powerful tools, and that's the online form tool. So let's get started. Go to your dashboard in Google Drive, click Create, and select Form. As an introduction, what Google's form tool does is it allows you to create surveys, forms, etc. that can be shared online, shared as a link with others. You can invite other people to participate in them, and you can collect data directly through the internet. It's a fantastic tool. First time you get in there, you may get a message like this that talks about some changes that they've got, but we're just going to say get started here. The first thing that it's going to do is it's going to ask you to pick a theme. Now, you don't have to pick any kind of fancy theme. The default is just this plain theme here, but they do have several themes for you to choose from that are colorful and may meet the needs of a particular occasion or event that you're looking to collect information on. So I'm going to pick this one called Magazine, and I'm going to click OK for right now. Now, in this example, I'm going to create a form that is going to be used to collect data from parents, contact information, and things of that nature. All right. As with any of the tools, when I first get in it, I'm not going to have a title, so I need to click up here, and I'm going to give my form a title. I'm going to call it Parent Survey, and it puts it here. If I need to put a description here, I can do so. That's also a good place you can put instructions and things like that if they're needed. All right, a couple of options that you can see up here just to understand. These are ways that you can narrow down who is allowed to participate in this survey or this form. For example, you can set it so that only people from within the district can view the form and they have to log in. You don't have to do that. You can set it wide open where anybody that has the link can do it. Another thing that's useful is you can do the progress bar at the bottom of the form pages, which you've seen probably yourself taking forms where it'll say you're 20% completed, 40% completed, and so on. We're going to go ahead and add that just so we can see what it looks like. And next, let's start adding some questions. It's a really simple process. What you first need to be able to do is tell it what type of question you want. The default on this, they've got a blank question here, and the default is actually multiple choice. And we're going to actually change that. I want to do a text one for my first one. And I'm going to make it very simple. I'm going to make it say first name. I am going to make this then a required question. And I'm going to click done. I'm going to add another question. To add another question, I simply go right here. Click Add Item. I also want this one to be text. I'm going to make it say last name. It is going to be a required question, and I'm going to click Done. Okay, now one thing that you should understand about these is I can rearrange the order of these questions real easily at any point in time while working on the survey by simply mousing over a question, clicking and dragging it to the place I'd like. So if I want last name before first name, I can do that. I can also edit a question at any time by simply mousing over it and clicking the pencil button, which is Edit. So maybe I wanted name to be capitalized to match the other question, and I can click Done. And finally, when I mouse over it, I can also delete a question by simply clicking the trash can. Now I'm going to add another question, and I want this one to be a multiple choice. Show you how to do a multiple choice question. I simply type my question in, click on the first option, delete that text, and type my own text. And if I want it to be a required question, again, I click here and click Done. Now, as I'm working on this, at any time, I can actually preview it by coming up here and clicking View Live Form. And here's my form so far. So that's basically how you can add questions. Now, just so that you see, when we click Add Item, I do want to show you the different types that are real commonly used. Paragraph text, so if you have longer strings of text that need to be included in an answer, that's what you would select. checkboxes, which are useful if respondents are to be allowed to select more than one option as an answer, and choose from a list. So I can actually put a list of answers in a drop-down menu form that they could select, and so on. And there's some different options here, but we're just going to stick to these for right now. Okay, so once all your questions have been created, you have some options here for the confirmation page that respondents are going to receive when they've completed the form. So here are your choices. You can say, show the link to submit another response. In this case, I don't want that. You can publish and show a link to the results of all of these forms to respondents. I definitely don't want that in this case. And you can allow responders to edit responses. I'm going to say yes to that. And you can also type in some type of personal message if you'd like. Okay, the last thing that we need to be able to do with the form to put it into action is to actually share it with others. There's a couple ways I can do that. One of the easiest ways is simply to share the link. Now if I click this Send Form button, I get a link that I can share. I can just copy that link. I could also embed this form into a web page, such as my class web page or a blog or a wiki or something like that. Or I can send it via email. I simply type in the email addresses here and click send, and it'll send a link via email to whatever recipients I choose. I'm going to click done. After I've shared it, I also need then to choose a response destination. And what the default is to create a new spreadsheet with all the responses in it. And I'm going to leave it like that. I can also tell it to go to an existing spreadsheet. Alright, so let's see how this all works when you get it all put together. I'm going to go to my live form and complete one. Alright, I've got my form submitted. You notice there's my response, and also there was my option where I could go in and edit my response. Now if I go back into my Google Drive, a cool thing has happened. Here's my parent survey that I was working on. Okay, notice it's already created a spreadsheet for my responses. I'm going to click this, and any responses that the parents have submitted will show in real time. I'll get a timestamp associated with it and all of their data. The nice thing about this is it arranges any kind of survey data or form into a spreadsheet, so I can sort it by name, I can sort it by some other criteria, but it has all the functionality of Google Spreadsheet. Okay, the last thing to make sure that you understand is how to get back into your survey to edit it if need be later. I simply click on the survey and I'm back in edit mode. Notice that I can click add item and so on. I can go in and delete questions. I can rearrange them like I was showing before, etc. So it has all of its full edit form. So that's it. I think you'll find this really useful. It's a very convenient way to collect information and data, and I'm sure that you can find lots of applications, and your students can find lots of applications for this in the classroom.